Hey guys, how's it going? I'm live from Prince Court Medical Center, KL. Give me a second. I'm gonna share this post real quick. Some of you might know that I recently got hospitalized. Uh, it was basically an accident lah. I was on my bike, I was excited, and then the car in front of me just emergency brake stop out of nowhere, so I banged into him and my foot just kind of like went like that and just split over. So they call it spiral fracture. I don't know if you can see this, but this is pretty much it. And you can see like the spiral here. My foot like basically over here just twisted, right? That was last Monday. So I've been in this hospital since Monday, and hopefully I'll get discharged tomorrow. And I've been losing my mind doing nothing here, so I thought I'd share about how the hospitalization process is, because I don't think it's something that a lot of people have the experience with, and might be very useful, especially when you need it the most. So when you need to get hospitalized, first you figure out what's it for, right? So mainly there's two main things: it's for sickness or because of an accident. And when it comes to accidents, it's usually a very smooth process. Even if you have a fairly recent medical card, you can get hospitalized due to accident very quickly. Simple reason is you can't make up an accident. It happens at that moment and you need to get treated immediately. There's no hanky-panky there. It's just that when it comes to sickness is when it's trickier. We have like waiting period, 120 days, and some of you heard 2 years. You can refer to my previous post. It's because medical card is not for someone who already has sickness. So it's not fair for you to already have a sickness, take a medical card, and then try to get hospitalized. So that's why there's waiting period longer for that. So for accidents, it's pretty straightforward. But when we're talking about sickness, like let's say fever, you have a fever, very high fever, and you want to get admitted, that's another, that could be a little more complicated, because you need to kind of like justify that sickness. So if you have like a normal sickness where they can't tell if it's current right now, for example, like I said just now, like fever, right? It will be better for you to go to a clinic first and get the doctor to verify and give you a referral letter to the hospital to verify that you are indeed so sick that you need to get admitted. And so when you go to the hospital, you furnish the hospital with that letter. It helps with the entire process. So that's the two things that you want to consider. So if you have like other sickness that you don't know of, it could be something a bit heavier, could be something that's so serious that we don't know. Then you go to the hospital. That's when they will check on what you have before they admit you. And that process we don't know, because when you're not hospitalized yet, you are not covered by the medical card yet. So that's still treated as outpatient. That's why it's a bit trickier. So for my case, it was an accident. It was very smooth. In fact, I got hospitalized very quickly. I didn't have to pay anything, not a single cent. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So when you get to the hospital, what you need to do is you need to give them your IC and your medical card. You need to do your registration lah. If you've been there before, then it's faster. If not, then you have to fill up and register yourself at the hospital as a new patient. And you need to identify whether that hospital is a panel hospital for your insurance or not. If it's a panel hospital, it's also easier and it's faster because they can deal quicker. If it's not a panel hospital, that's when you are likely having to pay first and then claim back, even though it's a genuine case. So in my case, I knew that Prince Court was a platinum hospital. So for AIA customers, it's very easy because we have this app called AIA Locator. And with AIA Locator, as soon as you turn on the app, it auto updates the information at that moment. So you don't have a scenario where the lists are outdated. You go to the panel hospital, they're like, oh, sorry, we're no longer a panel. We don't have that here. As soon as you turn it on, the auto updates here in lifetime, and it will show you all of the platinum hospitals and also our panel hospitals, which I'll get to lah. So that's why I knew that this is one of our panel hospitals. So when you go to a panel hospital, it's better because it's easier for your hospitalization process with your medical card. So when I go to the Penang hospital, the other question I have as an AIA customer is whether it's a platinum hospital or not. So platinum hospitals are special hospitals that have a strong relationship with AIA specifically because they want to give a faster hospitalization process and also no hospital deposit. The standard procedure when you go to any hospital is you need to pay a hospital deposit. That's like 500 ringgit, 1,000 ringgit. And this is not to be confused with co-insurance or kota kaful. Most cards, if you have an older medical card that's been around like maybe 4 or 5 years, you might have this thing called co-insurance or kota kaful, where you have to pay a portion of your hospitalization bills. Might be like 10% or something like that. But for me, I don't have that. So there's no co-insurance, no kota kaful. So the only thing I have to think about is hospital deposit. But because it's a platinum hospital, I don't have to pay any hospital deposits. So when I go in there, I know that that's why I picked this hospital actually, because of that faster process. It took me about less than an hour, maybe about 45 minutes to get admitted. So when I furnish them with the card, what normally happens to the hospital is they need to check whether your guarantee letter is approved or not. So they will have to contact the hospital. They have to contact the insurance company. They have to verify, okay, is this customer a paying customer or not? And that's what happens when that's the problem when you get hospitalized in the middle of the night. Imagine it's 3 a.m. in the morning, right? And you just got into an accident and you go to hospital, you try to get hospitalized, but you give them like a card, like a normal card without a way to verify. They would not be able to know whether you're a paying customer or not, whether your card is valid or not, and whether they are able to do that yet. So that is why you have a situation where they say, okay, pay us 10,000 deposit first, and then we can start treating you. And then the next morning, once the company gives the guarantee letter, then only we will refund back and treat you in full. That's what happens. But one thing good about the coverage that I have, and with AIA as well, is because with the card, it's actually swipeable at the back. So with this swipe feature, when I'm hospitalized, let's say it's 3 in the morning, I'm able to go to the hospital and they can swipe my card and they can tell whether I'm a paying customer or not, what are my benefits, how much is my limits, how much is my room value. That's why it's important to know that at the moment, right? It's just as simple as that. Anyone can have a card, but if they cannot verify you at that moment because the companies are closed at 3 in the morning, then they would not be able to hospitalize you. So in my case, I was hospitalized during working hours, so it would be smooth either way. But for me as well, it's because they are able to tell me my benefits straight away. So once it's an accident, the guarantee letter approval is usually faster because, like I said, you can't just make that up, right? And when if it's an accidental. Sorry, I think I got disconnected for a bit. Okay. So they will tell you how much your room value is. If you're familiar, when you buy your insurance, it'll say your room is 150 or 200, 250. This is in relation to the type of room that you can get. For example, in Prince Court, the single room for this room that I have right now is about 280 ringgit, the allocation. So let's say if your allocation is only 150 ringgit or 200 ringgit, you would have to top up the difference in order to enjoy this room. So that's what it's for. So once the guarantee letter has been approved and cleared, then you kind of have to pick this room. That's why sometimes your room allocation might be 200 ringgit and you can normally get that. But because the hospital is full, no more 200 ringgit room, they might have to put you in a smaller room or like a sharing room, 150 room, simply because they don't have any spaces. That's why another good thing to do when you want to get hospitalized and it's not anything urgent, you might want to give them a call. You can, if you're an AIA customer, you can use that app, AIA Locator, and there's phone numbers for all the hospitals. Just give them a call and say, hi, I probably need to get hospitalized later. I just want to check if this room is available so that I can come in and get admitted later. That's a good thing to do, and that's what some agents do for their clients as well, to ensure that you get like a comfortable room, because some people are very particular, they pay a higher amount so that they can get a more comfortable room so that their family members can sleep with. You want to ensure that the hospital you go to is able to cater for that. So once you've already picked the room and you've already agreed on it, then they will put you inside. They will admit you lah. So that's when they can start treating you. Without the approval of the guarantee letter, without the insurance company saying go ahead, they cannot treat you, because there's no one saying that, okay, we will take on all of this cost. So once you've already inside, that's when they'll do all kinds of tests. For my case, they had to do an x-ray. First started with an x-ray, and then because it was actually pretty bad, because my foot was kind of like, it's not a common type of fracture, so they had to do a CT scan as well to see in more detail where they would need to place the screws and what kind of plate it was needed. And because the plate that I need was not a common one, the way that it was broken, so they needed to order it, and I can only do it the next day. I could have been operated on Monday, but because of that, they have to get that the next day, so I was operated on Tuesday lah. So now is my recovery process in here. So the hospital deposit, like I mentioned just now, is something that they will pay back when you go out. So when you pay the hospital deposit, let's say 500 or 1,000, right? When you go out discharged, they will just deduct all of the things that's not related to the treatment, and everything else they will refund back to you. But in my case, because I didn't have to pay anything, then it was just cashless lah for me to just show up here, right? And once you are already inside as well, they are also liable to take care of you once they find out. So once I do the CT scan, once I've already done the x-ray, they know exactly what to do with me. They have the go-ahead to just treat me as per required. So the treatment, that's when we talk about the medical card limits, right? So if you have a low limit and then they do the treatment at that time, even though let's say your limit is only 100,000 and your treatment requires like 150,000 or something, or 120,000, because they're trying to treat you. So once the limit is already burst, that's when you're liable for the balance of it. Okay, so I think the normal thing that they will do is they will let you know lah, this is the scenario right now. Your insurance is no longer going to cover the balance of whatever else beyond this amount. So you would have to fork that out, then only will proceed. But anything before that point, before the point of your full limit of the annual limit, they will just treat you as per what you need to recover. Yeah, does that make sense? So that's pretty much it. So as a general rule, if your medical card cannot be swiped, pray that you get hospitalized during working hours. So the guarantee letter has to be cleared. If not, be prepared to have a deposit of about 5 to 10,000, depending on what kind of sickness you have, so that even though whatever time it is, they'll still hospitalize you. Ultimately, that's the most important thing, right? I mean, regardless of everything that we take a look at, what we are most worried about is when the thing is happening at that moment and we need the treatment, we want it to be as smooth as possible and as seamless as possible. So I actually, my accident was right in front of Dataran Merdeka. I was actually very near the office already, very near. And then that happened. So when I fell down, in fact, I thought that I was okay. I told them, chill, I'm all right. I'm just, just put me at the side. I thought that I will probably shake it off. I thought my foot was just stunned or shocked, but it was more serious than that. And someone said, call the ambulance, which I thought was like, wow, so dramatic, call ambulance, right? But I really needed that ambulance, and because they called the government one, so I wanted to get sent to another hospital, but they will automatically send me to HKL. So I went to HKL, like I mentioned just now, but because it's a government hospital, they do it straight away because it's part of the government coverage. And they took me on ambulance over there. They did my x-ray for me. In fact, they wrapped up my foot to do that. And I think if I were to just stay there and proceed, they could have operated on me as well. So all of that, just that three things, ambulance, getting wrapped up, x-ray, they only charged me 1 ringgit, which I think is pretty crazy. But that's definitely a good benefit, And I definitely had that option. But for me, when I found out that it was something that can be operated on and can be treated elsewhere, I chose to be hospitalized here because I wanted a more comfortable and convenient place for people to come, for my family members, for my friends, and people who wants to visit. They can come, and I can be in a room of my own, right? So that's when it comes to the choices, lah. So that's basically what you pay for. And bear in mind that even though you go to the government hospitals as well, you're not fully covered. I mean, it's not like in my case just now, yeah, it's RM1 for all those things. But if I were to have to go to some kind of surgery and it has to be a little bit more in depth, you might even be charged for some of the costs. So don't think that just because it's government, it's all free. It is very cheap, yes, but it is not all free. So you would still have to have some money available just in case you need that fund. So from there, the process as well is you can choose. So when I was already there, when I found out that it's something that I can get treated at Prince Court for, I just told the doctor at HKL, can you, I want to be transferred to Prince Court, so please help me kind of like write this letter lah, and help me with a smoother process when I come here. So she gave me the letter, gave me the x-ray as well. Took a car here, come here, and got treated here lah instead. So here I am, hopefully to be discharged tomorrow. I mean, I it's been a while since I got hospitalized. Actually, my last one was for my ACL on my right knee. There was 3 months recovery as well, and physiotherapy is usually very tough for this kind of injuries. So I have to expect the same for my left foot as well. No weights, no heavy weights on it. I can't put pressure on it right now for the next one and a half months. And after 1.5 months, that's when the physio will really kick in lah. Now I just have to do like these normal exercises, lift it up and bend it down. But I know that once the 1.5 months comes around, it's gonna be hell. But you know, this them's the breaks, right? You know, sometimes things will happen. I'm just trying to keep myself busy and stay positive, and that's kind of why I thought, you know, at least I'll share it with someone in case it was useful, in case it's useful for anyone, right? But I mean, this place is nice. If you guys ever wonder how this place is like, this place is super nice, man. Like, you can't see. It's pretty sweet. And like, this is like legit my food menu. Tell me like, what do I want for breakfast? I can like pick depending on the type of diet that I'm on. So like, they usually make me pick one day before what I want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. This is a thick ass book, by the way. It's pretty nice. Good experience. I mean, in terms of like the treatment they have for me here is pretty nice, and I actually just wanted to try it out and experience it because of what people say. Needless to say, I mean, I guess I will leave with this. I work on my own, and even if I didn't, the limit is always very limited. So if you don't have a medical card, definitely get one. It's not a lot. It's like you can get a medical card with good coverage for less than 200. It's probably like 150 or something like that. So that's granted, and I would be completely screwed if I didn't have that right now. So look into that. If you don't know how it works, if you want to find out, you can ask me as well. And I guess that's about it for me. Can't wait to be discharged tomorrow. And you guys have a good day. Okay? Take care. Thanks for all the people who came and visit and all the nice flowers over there. Definitely not been lonely lah. In fact, this is the only night that I have kind of like a somber night to kind of like chill a little bit. But overall, I'm blessed. I feel very blessed to be around so many people who care about me. Thank you so much. I can't wait to be out again. Supposed to be traveling tomorrow morning for AIA trip to Guilin Club Med, but that's not happening. But we make the most out of it, right? So you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. If this has been useful for you, please share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to write a comment or even ask me personally, and I'll try to answer it. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.